Just wanted to make a quick evening ramble talking about the Golden Horseshoe mine found in the northwestern peninsula of Brimhaven. Now, I know I've touched on this particular spot at least a handful of times on previous rambles and Say casts, but I wanted to give you guys a visualization of the method that I envision. And this method seriously could have great use in the game, especially for Iron Men that are looking for gold ore for their smithing grind, and just main players as well that are looking to mine with a little bit of profit and just have an enjoyable, engaging method that's just chill and in one particular spot. So I want to start off by just saying gold rocks and most high-level rocks around this game are completely imbalanced. I mean, we've dealt with them for over 20 years at this point, and they're just completely outdated. And I mean, there's a good reason why people aren't mining these. The respawn rates are incredibly slow, and just the success rate of extracting ore is laughably low. So those two simple changes already should just be implemented in the game. I think we could sit down, and just discuss what would be proper balancing. I mean, I'm just going to be talking about gold ore in this particular video, but this could be also implemented with silver rocks, coal, mithril, adamant. I'd even go as far as to say potentially rune, but for this video in particular, I just want to focus on gold rocks. Now, if gold rocks seriously just had the success rate of, let's say, granite or sandstone even, that would just be a huge improvement over what we currently have. If the respawn rates were even just half as slow as granite, that would be completely fine for a method like this. And the other thing about this method, which I'll show in a second, I actually just kind of briefly recorded a video kind of giving you an idea of what the method could look like if another factor was in play. Well, I guess two factors. One would be a guy named Files, potentially, that's kind of standing around here, and or potentially like a bank deposit box or some way to note your ore. And if it was a Files guy, maybe there's a small fee, maybe there's a coffer for like 20 GP or 50 GP per noted item. And then what you would do is just go around this little 3x3 square and just mine away at your own convenience, and then just be able to note things and kind of stay in this little area and just get a bunch of gold per hour. I would even say, if rates were around granite, for example, you'd be able to get about 1,600-ish gold ore per hour, because I believe at least at 99 mining, I think the success rate of granite rocks is around 80 to 90%. So if that was implemented here, in a perfect world, mining a gold ore every 3 ticks would equate to 2,000 rocks per hour. But with a 90% or 80% or whatever it is, success rate would be around 1,600. But there are items in the game like the Max Cape, Varrock Armor, Celestial Ring. I guess Expert Mining Gloves don't actually do anything in regards to getting more ore per hour, but these little changes would increase that ore amount. And I'm using an Infernal Pick in the video as well, and that could also... I also want to talk about the Infernal Pick. It's unbelievable that using the Infernal Pick on gold ore while using gold smithing gauntlets or a Max Cape, which also acts as gold smithing gauntlets, is not giving you that XP boost. That's so strange. It looks, according to the wiki, that you only get 9 XP per smelt. That's automatic with the Infernal Pickaxe. So that needs to be changed at this point. I'm just going to quickly address as well, there really needs to be silver smithing gauntlets at this point. I mean, come on. I was really hoping with Giants Foundry they would have at least addressed something in lines with silver smithing gauntlets. That would just be such a good update to the game. That has nothing to do with this, but the other thing that I'll talk about, and I know the term has been just completely memeified at this point, but in the video you'll see, I'm using purple sweets, but that is to try to just show the ease at which, if an item like a gnome cube or an item that organically comes into the game like a Celaster Spark that would do the same thing as what I've described as a gnome cube being, which is just clicking once, starting a 3-tick skilling timer. I think it's time, and I'm still a strong advocate for an item that acts like that. It could even be a holiday item. It doesn't have to do anything with a cube at all. I know, like I said earlier, it's just become completely memeified at this point, but I truly think for the vision I have, at least for skilling going forward, is really diving in and understanding the beauty and the fun and the flow state you can get with rhythmic skilling. Something that's just as simple as 3 ticking. The problem with knife log and other things that we've just had in the game for so long is, I mean, yeah, they came out kind of organically. We found these weird mechanics, but we don't need to be dogmatic in realizing that this is the only way skilling needs to be. I truly think unnecessary clicks that really don't have any particular use in having that method be engaging at all. I mean, it's adding extra clicks simply just adds difficulty to the method with no other benefit. I mean, imagine, this is an example I've brought up. Imagine, at the end of phase 1 Verzik in the Theater of Blood, Verzik jumps off of her throne, enters the middle of the room, and now you're scything her or, you're whipping her or whatever every 4 ticks. And, you're stepping back, attacking every 4 ticks. There's something kind of nice about that. You're keeping in the rhythm and, you mess up here and there, you get punished. But like, there's a few other things going on, crabs are spawning. But for the most part, just that simple action of just clicking and then clicking back every 4 ticks can kind of be addicting. We see it as well with Chambers of Xeric. But I'm going to stick with this example for a minute. Imagine now, instead of just being able to click back and forth between Verzik, now you have to knife log every single time you click Verzik when you step back. So you got to step back, knife log, click Verzik. Step back, knife log, click Verzik. Like, can you imagine just the outrage that PVMers would have over something as just abominable as that? For the most part, we kind of have segregated into like different camps, like the PvP camp and the PVM camp and the skilling camp and, whatever the role-playing camp. But like, skillers generally don't want things to change. And I also want to just illustrate that for those super high level skillers that have become very jaded and just, are under their own illusion that like I did a bunch of, 3-tick 4G, for example, and nothing should be changed. This is pure skilling at its finest. Nothing should ever change. And if you can't do the method or it's hard on your wrist, grow up, pussy. Like, you got to understand that extra click that you're getting, and I'm not saying destroy these methods that have come out organically. There's nothing about that. In fact, I'm arguing the exact opposite. I'm arguing to get rid of all the unnecessary baggage that those methods entail and just get down to the simple fact that, like, what is making this method actually fun? And I would argue that 3-tick 4G is fun because it's a constant nice flow between 4 rocks and you're clicking in a 3-tick rhythm. And I seriously believe that extra click on the knife and then the log is not doing anything for the enjoyability of that method. So the other thing, this is just targeted toward those higher level players. The reason, a lot of updates such as mini games and other skilling variants have come out that have just been very babyish in my terminology. Mini games kind of built for toddlers that seriously the method can be learned within 20 seconds of it dropping, and now you just do it for 200 hours or whatever. I don't like to see the game go down that route. There have been good mini games, don't get me wrong, but I truly think there could be some more rhythm implemented in these methods and just more of a challenge and more of a flow state instead of just coming out with a skilling method that appeals to all players instantaneously. There's no real challenge to it. It's very boring. There's hardly any reward, really. I mean, yeah, it's kind of rewarding, but at the end of the day, people just want to get the skill over with just to go PVM. It'd be cool to see a day where skilling is actually something that's desirable. Like, I actually want to spend my day skilling now because it's actually fun. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine getting that? And I truly think a lot of those tick manipulation methods do give us glimmers of what skilling could be. I mean, for the people that have never tried out tick manipulation, it's hard to fully illustrate the fun that can be had with what I would argue is just rhythm and predictable resource extraction. It's just that predictability of clicking, for those that have maybe done 2-tick teaks, like clicking on the ground or clicking on the log to drop it and then clicking the tree again and getting that log just every time. It's just, there's something appealing about that, and having a good XP rate per hour. You're in this constant flow. There's no interruptions. It's just go. For those that have tried 2-tick sorties or maybe even a little bit of 3-tick chin hunting or 3-tick barbarian fishing, most of the time, as long as you spend a little bit just learning the method, which is very intimidating for a lot of people, I would even back in the day, I'm thinking, early 2016 is when I was first introduced to one tick prayer flicking. I remember watching Alfie and Foe on stream trying to one tick prayer flick their Slayer tasks, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? This is incredible. Like, how is this even happening? I just could not understand the fundamentals of the tick system in RuneScape. It was just, there was so much going on, and so we got to remember what it's like to be a new player starting out on this game. And but the beauty with this game, and I feel like a lot of higher level players can attest to this, is when you start understanding the intricacies of PVM, for example, and the tick system and praying things correctly and, getting involved in tick manipulation, that's when the real fun begins. And you start understanding more of the beauty behind RuneScape, the underlying just mechanics that are going on. And I seriously think we shouldn't be straying from that, especially with skilling. I feel like in skilling, we have this idea that no, don't, just get rid of all the tick manipulation stuff. That was bug abuse from the beginning. Don't touch it. Like, just stay away from it. Keep things as easy as possible. Keep things for, a beginner can go into it and just have a good time, and don't let them suffer in any way possible. But with PVM, we've gone the complete opposite, where it's like, we really want the highest level of gaming, and that entails just going crazy on the tick system. Just, Awaken Leviathan is out of control. I mean, you have to understand the tick system in order to successfully complete that encounter. The Inferno is another one. But we are so proud of those updates. I mean, they're just incredible updates and additions to this game, and I truly think, I've said truly probably 50 times this ramble, but seriously, skilling could go down that same route. And I want to also just point out, I am not pro make all skilling very high APM. In fact, I want to make things actually lower APM. This is the whole point of a gnome cube, is to drop the APM, which is actions per minute, down just significantly. Just get rid of all the baggage, which is just extra clicking for no reason. Really focus on what is fun in skilling. And we can still have AFK methods. I'm a huge fan of, the fishing barrel and being able to just chill out and fish karambwans or chop a redwood tree or do whatever else. I think there really is a lot to be said about just having variety and skilling. And if you don't want to do those high APM methods, you can chill out and do a nice method. I'm all about that. I really want there to continually be a variety of options with skilling. I think that's also important. So anyway, I hope you guys just can take away at least a little bit of what I've said throughout this video. I know it sounds like I'm trying to push this on, the community potentially, or people can perceive it as I just want my way or the highway. But truly, my vision is just to make skilling enjoyable. And like I said earlier, my overall viewpoint is that rhythm and predictable resource extraction, at least in traditional gathering skills, just having enjoyable methods that people actually want to do when they log in. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed the rambles as well. Drop a comment as well, letting me know what you think about this entire thing. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. I'd love to hear where you guys would want to see skilling go in the future, and just your overall thoughts on the video. So thank you very much for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one.